Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and M.M.Enians. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
Yeah, exactly. That is it. We are here, the Sports Corner Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. And I tell you what, we have a great show for you today, and we're coming to your city, and you know it. You doggone know it. You know it, know it, know it. And all right, let me get my face up here on the screen. And I am Ralph Williams, and this is the Sports Corner Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X, and also on the Kick platforms and the Huddle Sports Network. And today we're going to have Mike SISZAK come on. He's going to talk about the Washington Commanders. We're going to get his opinion on the name change. And we're also going to be talking with him about the Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, and other NFL news. As you know, training camps have started. If you don't know, then I guess you've been hiding in the sand. So I just want to let everyone know that. We'll talk about TJ Watt's contract some more and break some things down, and a whole lot more coming up here on the Sports Corner Show. We're here every Tuesday, 4 to 5 p.m. right here on your social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X, and also on the Kick Network and the Huddle Sports Network as well. Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. I'm ready for this one, buddy.
All right. If you notice today, those of you who can see it, but I'm going to show it to you. I am wearing my NWO shirt today. Why? In dedication of Hulk Hogan. And next show, the Wrestle Talk show, Smokin' Jim and I are going to break down about Hulk. We're going to talk about Hulk Hogan and his legacy and what he did to the wrestling business. Smokin' Jim and I are going to share our favorite matches that Hulk had. We're going to talk about SummerSlam coming up this weekend. We have a lot to talk about in the next hour. But today, there was a tragedy today or yesterday, and it was in New York. It was at the NFL offices. A 24-year-old man went in and tried to shoot Roger Goodell, and he ended up on the wrong floor at the NFL headquarters in Manhattan. And what happened? He ended up killing somebody and himself. Okay? What is going on in today's society that we can't take care of these people that have concussions? This kid didn't even make it out of high school, and he had concussions. And he blamed his physical ailments on the NFL because the way that they promote physical violence. Okay? What are we going to do about mental health in the United States? But I'm glad that the rest of the employees, and he got off on the wrong floor, and he didn't shoot Roger Goodell. And that's my rant for today. And he's somewhere else and not here shooting anybody else. That's my rant for today. Go ahead, Smokin' Jim for wisdom.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that. I heard about the police officer getting killed
Yeah,
in
and a
New York.
police officer got shot too. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I didn't know the guy was aiming for Roger Goodell. But hey, Ralph, how's your Cleveland Gamblers baseball team doing?
Oh, you mean the Guardians? Yeah.
Well, they've been nicknamed the Gamblers because a few of their players is under investigation for gambling. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, that's sad.
But I'm old school, Ralph, and when Antonio Brown did what he did in terms of taping Mike Tomlin's post game, talk to the team at Kansas City years ago, I said I was the first one to say, cut him right now, and he'd never be able to play for me again. And everybody thought I was crazy. But some things you just don't tolerate, man. Aaron Rodgers threw a slant, a dig route that ended up going for a touchdown to DK Metcalf, and Freiermuth threw his hands up because he's mad he didn't get the ball. Now, this is not a game. This is not even exhibition or a scrimmage. They were in shorts. They weren't even in pads. And for me, if a player did that, especially a player that should be a leader like Freiermuth, man, because you're not getting the ball, it's going to be a problem. I would trade him right now. You already got John New Smith. You got Mount Washington. And I tell you what, for Freiermuth to do that in front of the team and act out like that, for me, I would get rid of him right now because that's going to be a problem all season long. There's only one football.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Smokin' Jim. Very good, Smokin' Jim's wisdom. We'll talk about Pat Freiermuth. Didn't get the ball. Oh, my. All right. Let's get our guest up here today, Mike SISZAK. Mike, welcome to the program. But first, I'm sorry, Mike. I don't mean to keep you waiting, but I have to pay some bills here. These are important people who sponsor the show here. And one of them is Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. They're our studio sponsor here at Studio 10, Berlin, Maryland. I want to thank everyone for watching the show today. And I want to thank everyone online, not only that, but also on Facebook and Twitter, and also on the other platforms as well. 724-201-0500. I want to thank Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. They're our studio sponsor, Studio 10 here in Berlin, Maryland. And also our other sponsor, Mike Dotson Realty. And that number is 410 area code 596-1681. Call Mike today if you're interested in any kind of a short-term rental. And yes, there is still short-term rentals in Ocean City, Maryland. The vote went down last Tuesday, and guess what? It got shut down again as the government here keeps on trying to shut down short-term rentals. But don't worry, call Mike today, and he'll get you set up with a short-term rental here. Don't pay the high prices at the hotels. All right, Mike, welcome to the program. It's great to have you from Amped Up Sports. He covers the Washington Commanders, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Mike, let me ask you this question. First of all, your thoughts on President Trump's orders to have the Washington Commanders go back to the Redskins. Your thoughts on that first. We'll get that first before we get indulged into everything else.
The Name change is one of those things. It's just every time it's like that bad penny. Every time you think it goes away and that we're going past it, it just seems to keep coming back up. Um, I am not going to pretend to know why President Trump decided that he needed to weigh in on that at that point in time. And I'm not going to go down. I don't act like I know what the end result of all of that's going to be. The one thing that it did do was get DC City Council out of neutral
Right.
and get them back to the negotiating table with the commanders. They announced last Thursday that they had a deal. They should be voting on it in the next couple of days. That means that it's going to put Congress on the clock. They would have 30 days to try and do anything. They have a 30-day window where they can undo any act of Washington, D.C. City Council. Given that Congress is on recess until September, and then
Yeah, no, I wish I had a month's
even if they
vacation.
did come back, it would take more than 30 days to get to it. I think that part of it is done. So by the time anything else comes of it, they're going to be breaking ground on this stadium. It really doesn't matter much how we feel or anybody else feels about the name change or anything like that. The money just isn't there. The sponsorship just isn't there. There doesn't seem to be much of the appetite that people claimed that there is to go back to the Redskins. I said a long time ago, I thought they should. It wasn't the name as much that was the problem. It was the logo. If they had just changed it to a doggone potato, they'd be fine. They get a great sponsorship from Idaho and just have it be the Redskin potatoes and problem solved. But they didn't take my advice. And Josh Harris has been clear he's not interested in changing the name. He wants to build a new brand because as much as the old name has good memories from the Joe Gibbs era, you can't forget about the next 25 years of just ineptitude under Dan Snyder. And by kind of going away from that and getting rid of that brand, leaving that in the past, even if you want to have allusions to it in team uniforms, but going away from that, he gets a chance to build a brand. And guess what the brand is? It's winning right now.
It's winning.
Yes. Yeah, they have
Yes.
they are right now they're the belle of the ball. I can't remember the last time there were this many national outlets down
Right.
covering Commanders training camp and how much attention, how many mentions for good the Commanders are mostly getting on national and regional, local. The feeling around this team is one of positivity, and it's an atmosphere of professionalism and positivity that really hasn't existed
No, it hasn't. No, not in a
in
long time.
25 years. 25 years.
Yes, exactly. It's been probably since the Joe Gibbs era, maybe, that things might have been,
The end
okay.
of the first Joe Gibbs era,
Right.
1999, when they moved into the new stadium,
Right.
and Jack Kent Cook sold the team to Dan Snyder. It's been a steady erosion.
Yeah, it's been
ever
like the
since.
Jerry Jones syndrome of coaches and stuff like that have come in and out, and that kind of thing.
Well-
There was even a rumor at one point that Dan Snyder wanted to lure Mike Tomlin away from the Steelers. He was going to give him GM and coaching duties, and Mike decided to stay
that
with the
wasn't a
Steelers.
rumor. I'm pretty sure that after they got rid
That
of
phone call, yes.
Jay Gruden,
Jay
I'm pretty
Gruden
sure
left.
after
Yeah,
Jay
or
Gruden,
got fired. Yes.
yeah, they before they hired Ron Rivera, they really did try to see if they could
Right.
get Mike Tomlin. And I believe after there was a thought that they might try and do it again after they got rid of Ron Rivera. And so
Right.
it has there've been that's what it's been for the last 25 years. So here you get a chance to build almost a completely new organization with a new stadium that's going to be, probably one of the most popular venues just because of, um, because of the location, because of the fact that it's down here, it's in DC, it's where RFK was. It is metro accessible. My biggest complaint is that there is no parking. There is not going to be
That's going
any
to be
parking
interesting.
around that stadium. You will not be able to tailgate. They're going to have an 8,000 place garage. This is the Commanders and the city of Washington, D.C., saying as clearly as possible to you, the fan who is local, who may come in to watch your team play, to watch an event, we do not want you to tailgate. Please do not try and tailgate. We are going out of our way to make it impossible for you to tailgate because
Yeah,
we're
the
building
Steelers
this.
are doing that too. So I mean, they keep on building these lots, these garages. They don't want people to tailgate that much. They invite you to come in early. They give you a prize, or you get a little scratch off ticket or whatever. At least that's what it was when I worked down there. So at
They're
Acrisure
doing all
State.
of this stuff to build this mixed use um, kind of center, like you see
Center,
outside of
right?
a
Yes. Yeah,
mixed
exactly.
use
Right.
community center that you see like a shopping center with bars
Right.
and restaurants. And when you think about the tax breaks that they're giving for this and the tax revenue that they're going to get from the hospitality tax,
Right. Okay.
every beer you
Okay.
bring is one you're not buying from them, and they
Yeah,
want
that's
you
for
to
sure.
spend money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right, Smoking Jim. You have any questions for Mike?
Yeah, great information as usual, Mike. You're very thorough. Do you think now last year the Commanders, I think they won 4 or 5 games on the last play of the game. Do you think there's a possibility that they could take a step back this year?
I think that there's a real possibility that they could take a step back. And Smoking Jim, you're right. It wasn't even 4 or 5; it was 6 in a row that they won up
Yeah,
into the Tampa Bay game. That they
exactly.
won on the last play of the game. And let's be honest, that just really does not happen. You can't ride that kind of luck throughout a season when you're going for 11-win season. They were playing a last place schedule last year. The schedule gets remarkably harder. I think they have the uh, eighth hardest schedule by metrics in the NFL this year. So their schedule is going to be a lot harder this year. They relied a lot on these 50-50 one-year picks that they got. Most of their defense was all on a one-year contract. More than half of their roster last year was on a
Right.
one-year contract. They had to sign 26 free agents this year just to fill out the
Wow.
roster.
Gee
Guess what they're going
whiz.
to have to do next year? They're going to
Well,
have to sign
they're
24.
going to have to do the same thing again next year because they got too many free agents. And I hope that Dan Quinn and the organization doesn't do what the McShay down there at the Rams. Their head coach did. He went to a Super Bowl doing that, but you know what? Now his draft, he don't have enough draft picks now, and he hasn't for the last couple of years to be able to build, some players. He has to keep going on getting free agents. McShay down there and with the Rams. So I hope that the Redskins or the Commanders don't do the same thing.
Don't worry, nobody's going to fault you if you call them the Redskins. We all still do it on occasion.
There you go.
But no, look, teams are going to have a year's worth of tape to watch Jaden Daniels play.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
that defense was not great. It wasn't a
Right.
championship caliber defense last year. It was bottom third in the league pretty much all the way around. They made some minor improvements, especially in the secondary with their draft picks, but you're still relying heavily on a bunch of guys who are a little bit long in the tooth in hopes that what you did last year you can kind of capture that. Like Bobby Wagner is a great linebacker, right? But he plays in a phone booth. He does not have that lateral quickness anymore that he used to have. And
Right.
yeah, he had a good season last year, but the only thing different in between this season and last season is he's a year older. Can you really
Wow.
depend on him to keep that up?
Exactly.
They didn't get yeah, they signed Von Miller to upgrade the pass rush late, But he's another guy who's probably his best years are behind him. I think that they're going to hope that this defense can keep them within touching distance and then ask Jaden Daniels to go out and do what Jaden Daniels does best.
And that's play quarterback, run with his feet and things like that. What he
He
performed
put on
last
some
year.
weight this year.
Sometimes you have a sophomore jinx too involved in this too, Mike and Smoke and Jim. And I think Smoke and Jim will agree with me. There's a lot of times you have the sophomore jinx, but we're hoping that doesn't happen. And sometimes, and I'm going to say this, Mike, because they won the close games last year. It's better to be lucky than good sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But
and
it's a team that finished in the NFC Championship game last year.
yes, I
And
remember.
outside of
But,
the Debo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil moves, which were big moves, I'm not going to say that they weren't. This wasn't a team that went into this year looking like, okay, our window is open. We are going to load up and really, really, really go for it. They kind of let free agency play out. They made a couple of moves. They didn't have a lot of draft capital. And, even now, the biggest story is we're waiting to see what the resolution to the Terry McLaurin
right.
saga is. He wants
Yeah.
DK Metcalf money, and they want him to take Cortland Sutton or Mike Evans money.
Right.
And he's saying, my stats are DK Metcalf stats. And they're saying,
wants DK Metcalf money more or less. So that's where we're looking at.
Well, right, they're saying you're Mike Evans and Cortland Sutton old, so we're going to give you their money, and there's no end in sight right now.
All right, Mike, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. What is our biggest competitor this season? Because we always see them in the first 2 games of the regular season, and we always see them in the playoffs. Will we see them in the playoffs this year? Are the Ravens that good? Is Lamar Jackson going to be better? What's going to happen with the Ravens this year?
They'll be in the playoffs. They took a major loss today at the end of practice. Isaiah Likely went down with a lower leg injury, and he had to be carted off. So that's not looking.
Jim Likely's hurt. That's a Steeler nightmare. See when he comes back.
Yeah, they're not happy. That one's looking kind of problematic. I think the addition of Malachi Starks to that secondary is going to make that defense a lot better.
A lot better, right?
The fact that they were relying so much last year on Kyle Hamilton to basically get dressed in a phone booth and come out and play Superman behind the front 7.
That's it.
Led to a lot of plays. They added Jair Alexander. We'll see how healthy he can be. I mean, he's a great player when he's on the field, but he spends a lot of time off of it.
Right.
So I think that we saw some of what Nate Wiggins could do for the good and for the bad. He got beat a number of times. Marlon Humphreys has had his injury issues, but I think the addition of Malachi Starks is going to be good. Kyle Hamilton's already talked about how far ahead of the game he is in practice and how much their skill sets complement each other, which is scary if I'm one of their opponents.
That is scary. That's going to be scary for the Steelers, but I think this year with some more weapons that we have, and I think a little bit of a better quarterback. He might be aged, but Aaron Rodgers, I think, and I hope that Arthur Smith takes the handcuffs off of him and lets him run his own offense, and I think he will anyway. But I think the Steelers might not be too bad this year against the Ravens. John Harbaugh has a bad habit of making stupid coaching, bad habit mistakes against the Steelers. He does it every time, but he always manages to get back at us either in the second game of the year or the playoff game, which he did last year and blew us out. Smokin' Jim, any questions for Mike about the Ravens?
Yeah. I tell you what, man, you shared some great information about the Ravens with us. The Pittsburgh Steelers in the offseason tried to load up because the Ravens ran for like 300 yards, rushed for like 300 yards in the playoffs, over 200 yards in the regular season. Henry is just unstoppable. So the Steelers tried to really load up, drafting a couple defensive linemen and some other people to try to stop the run. But do you think, Mike, that the Ravens should be and could be a Super Bowl year for the Ravens?
They have the roster to make it to the Super Bowl. They have one of the deepest, most talented rosters in football. I think at the end of the day, the thing that stands between the Ravens and the Super Bowl is as much themselves as anything else. We can go back 2 years ago. They had a great defense. Their defense limited the Chiefs to 17 points in that NFC Championship game. They were playing from 10 points behind most of the game. Yet they continued to play like they were playing 20 points behind. They got away from the run and didn't play their brand of football in their game, and they lost. Last year, yes, Lamar Jackson tried to overplay a little bit in the first half against the Bills,
Right.
but then he came back. They were a Mark Andrews dropped 2-point
Drop ball
conversion.
away from going to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
And if you know what, Mark Andrews does not drop balls. Like,
I
that
heard he
just
was
doesn't
paid.
happen.
I heard he
And
was paid
so,
to drop the ball.
yeah, and so you have these two circumstances, and they need to. It's almost like Peyton Manning was back before he got it. He was able to beat Tom Brady that first time. You know,
Right.
he needs to get over that hurdle. Lamar is as talented. He's got all the accolades. You know, as long as he is there and they've got this team set up the way that they are going to be contenders. But he has to put together consecutive playoff performances. He's never won more than one playoff game in a season. And we all know my math to tell me that if you're going to play in the Super Bowl, you have to win at least two. And so, can he get it together this year? And he's got the weapons. I mean, they went out, they got DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins isn't the player that he was with the Houston Texans, but he's still one of the best contested ball catchers in the league. And I think in the Ravens offense, that's going to give them an advantage because Lamar plays so off script that there are going to be a number of contested balls. Rashad Bateman, who is a player that they've kind of been waiting on for a long time, has really looked good. So they're in training camp, Zay Flowers. I think the likely injury is going to be big. And I'll see what they do at tight end. And then the health and defense, they've got some young defensive players. Adisa Isaac, for example, their outside linebacker. He was a guy who played opposite Chop Robinson, who was a first-round pick. A lot of teams really liked him. The Ravens, their outside linebackers, their pass rushers, seem to really. It takes at least a year of playing in that system to understand it. He's a guy that I think you might see a little bit more of
Right.
this season, and he definitely has the ability to be a disruptive force. But he's going to have to share time with the Dafeowa and Kyle Van Noy. They're good up front, and we think the secondary is going to be good. And as long as Derrick Henry stays healthy in his training regimen, I mean, what he spends training each month and how he eats and stuff like that, there's no reason to think that he won't. As long as that train keeps running, the Ravens are going to be tough.
All right. Mike SISZAK joins us from Amped Up Sports. He's here to talk with us today about the Washington Commanders, Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. And Mike is brought to you by Robin Campbell Insurance, Farmers Bristol West Insurance. You live in Western Pennsylvania. Call Robin today, 412-366-3399. Robin Campbell Insurance. Also, don't forget to get on the website, Fold and Travel Mobility. Look, if you're in a wheelchair like I am, and you're sitting back thinking to yourself, I can't go nowhere. I don't have a folding power wheelchair to put in someone's car. Well, guess what? Fold and Travel Mobility has it for you. They do financing. They also do. They also will check your insurance to see if if it covers it. And they have specials all the time. They have a summer special going on right now. FoldandTravelMobility.com or call 1-877-GOT-FOLD. 1-877-GOT-FOLD. 20 years of experience. They have some great people online that are on the phone that will talk with you. Also online, you can chat with them as well. They will set you up with the right model of folding power wheelchair. Fold and Travel Mobility. All right. Just to let everyone know, I am sitting right now in a wheelchair because, I'm in a wheelchair, and I have a folding power wheelchair from Fold and Travel Mobility. Okay. So I just want to let everyone know. All right. Get your folding that way. If you need to travel in someone's car, you can fold it up and put it in the car and take it with you. All right. Don't let, anything bother you from getting out and doing stuff. All right. Brian Pettit's watching on Facebook. Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon. He says to everyone. Brian is from this group here. He has his own network and own channel here. It's called Tiger Stripes Network. And Brian has also been on our Saturday morning sports show at 10 a.m., the Saturday sports show with me, Ralph Williams, Leo Haggerty, and also guests of our choosing. This week we have probably we'll have Pensman Sports will join us. Perhaps Brian Pettit will join us. Leo will be part of the show. And Mike, if you're interested and you want to get up in the morning, you can come on as well. Jeremy Ballwick has also joined us from the kneecap biting in the Detroit Lions. And anyone else that we can think of to join us on Saturday morning for the Saturday Sports Show right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X platforms, and also on the Kick Network and the Huddle Sports Network as well. We're on Roku with the Huddle Sports Network, and we're working on some other stuff as well. Hope to be on some other networks as well. Okay, Mike, the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, we know Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. They had an injury involving a tight end. I checked with a couple sources of mine at a training camp. They told me it was a guy who was an undrafted free agent, so no need to panic. It wasn't anything else. But the big talk this week was Freiermuth putting his hands up in the air, why he didn't get the ball. And I think maybe we might have to take his salary and move it somewhere else, Mike, and maybe cut him. Smokin' Jim suggested that in his Smokin' Jim's wisdom before you came on the air. Mike, your thoughts on the Steelers and what's going on at training camp and Freiermuth and not getting the ball?
I mean, pass catchers tend to be divas to begin with. Yeah, and I think it's just part of the DNA that it takes to play that position at that level. You have to be a bit of a diva. You have to always be open, and you always have to be complaining that you didn't get the ball.
Right.
I can't. I don't think that they want to release Pat Freiermuth. I can see a lot of teams right now.
Yeah, he said it was just
a lot of teams that would snap him up, especially like, for instance, if because he's on a rookie contract. Hey, look, if Isaiah Likely is done for the season and y'all release Pat Freiermuth, the Ravens will send a moving van up from Owens Mills to go get him. I can guarantee you that much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that too will sort itself out.
Well, Freiermuth just signed a new contract, actually, Mike. He just signed one last year.
Signed the extension?
Yeah, he signed an extension. Yeah. Everyone's been talking about it too, so
I'm interested to see the what they're going to do at wide receiver.
Yeah, that's going to be the question mark, the number 2. They got Roman Wilson, but he's a little short. They got they got a few other guys out here that are involved in this. They said Calvin Austin. Yeah, don't sell him out. They say don't sell out Ronald Woods. They say he's a reasonable wide receiver, been around the league. Skrodnick, he'll catch some balls here and there and all that, so hang on a second. All right, go ahead. But anyway,
they have 12 draft picks next year. I wouldn't be at all surprised that they see what they've got in Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson throughout training camp and see if there is another wide receiver available
with
on
some
the
height.
trade market with
With
some.
some height.
Well, you want somebody. I mean, Roman Wilson's what 5'10". You're not going to find another
No.
6'5" DK Metcalf, but I have a lot of questions with DK Metcalf even being the number one. This is a guy, yeah, he has some decent stats, but he's only got 3,000 yard seasons, 3 seasons where he's had over 70 catches, and he has never actually been the number one wide receiver on his own team. It was Tyler Lockett for the first couple of years, and then he got passed by Jackson Smith and Jigba. So, can he be the wide? He's got all the skills.
Right.
I just question um, the want to. Is he going to be that type of wide receiver that can just dominate, like take over a game,
Right.
the way that they're going to need him to as their number one, with a pun intended short room of wide receivers in terms of
Yeah,
quality and
exactly. Oh,
experience.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm concerned about both lines of scrimmage. Broderick Jones is hurt right now. They have Salomalu out with what they call soft tissue problems, which the Marvin Llewell has. And I told everybody that he had that problem. Nobody believed me. Nobody listened, and he turned into a bum. And he hasn't played for the last couple of seasons. He's been with the team. Was in the same draft as Kenny Pickett, and I'm just not happy with the fact that these guys, some of these guys that they drafted, just really haven't performed. But we're going to find out this year. Broderick Jones needs to step his game up. Falamatu's back from last year, and we'll see what he does. And so we'll find out. The defensive line is suspect a little bit. I know they have Derek Harmon. They're saying he's like a Javon Hargrove. They're at camp, but that's training camp. That's not live game action. Let's see what happens. And so they've got some other people that they have, and we'll see where they go. And they have they re-signed T.J. Watt, Mike.
Mhm.
What your thoughts on this contract? Do you agree with it? Do you think that it was the right contract? Do you think we see T.J. Watt after this contract?
I don't know if you see him after this contract, because I think that he is nearing he's probably definitely on the
Right.
back nine. But I do think it is something that you had to do, given his role in the team and his performance. If you are pushing all of your chips to the middle, which is basically what they have done with the DK Metcalf trade, with the Jalen Ramsey trade, and then given the new deal. The Jalen Ramsey trade, and then giving Ramsey a new deal. Um, Bringing in Aaron Rodgers at 42. You have to keep the best player that you have on the team, the heart and soul of the team, the face of the franchise, probably your best player of this generation, and a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. You got to keep him in the building. And the worst thing that could happen to the Steelers with this TJ Watt thing was to end up like the your AFC North foe out to the southeast or the southwest, and be dealing with what the Bengals are in Trey Hendrickson, and just how bad that has got for them.
Yeah, that has
But
gotten really out of control, Mike. It really has. And we'll see where the Bengals go. They need him. They have nothing else. So we'll see where that goes.
it
Okay.
took them all this time
So
to sign Shamar Stewart, so we'll see.
yeah, exactly. Smoking Jim, any questions for Mike about the Steelers here?
Yeah, real quick, Mike. I think you and I are in agreement that the wide receivers are divas, and George Pickens is a freak of freaks. He was on his rookie deal. He's never been suspended. He's never done anything egregious, and he's only had one bad game in 3 years. Um, if you were making a decision, would you have brought George Pickens back for the last year of his rookie deal, and enjoyed him and DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers.
The fact that the Steelers traded him on the last year of his rookie deal, the fact that they did not get a adequate replacement tells me a lot about where Mike Tomlin was with George Pickens. Just because he hasn't had issues that we know of off the field, and just because he's performed on it, doesn't mean that behind the scenes there isn't more to it. And the feeling that I get is that Mike Tomlin was kind of done with his immaturity when it comes to being coached, and he didn't find him to be coachable. And Mike Tomlin was willing to move on. DK Metcalf is not been known to be the easiest personality to work with. So that you brought him in and shipped out George Pickens tells me a lot about what they were thinking about George Pickens and just the bridges that George Pickens had burnt in Pittsburgh.
Yes. Yeah, he
And
did.
so, you know, I don't. It has. It's more than just a straight up. Oh, we bring him back because he performs on the field. Clearly, that sometimes that old adage, "Bad apple spoils the bunch." You got to get rid of the bad apple, and even if the other guys in the room aren't that caliber of player individually, you're hoping that you can use them or find some formula that will work to make up that lack of production. Like I said, they've got draft assets. I think I would be surprised if they roll into the game one of the season and they are not convinced by Robert Woods, Calvin Austin, and
Calvin
Roman
Austin,
Wilson,
right. Yeah,
and they're not convinced by them.
I hope they don't get burned. I mean, I really do. I hope that perhaps they see something in some of these other guys that might, you know what I mean? But we'll find out.
There's guys like Mechie. Chris Olave could be available for a trade. Alan Lazard is another guy that could, for the Jets, who Aaron Rodgers is perfectly familiar with. And if you want a big body,
yes, yeah, I would like to see him come. Yeah,
he's a guy who could be got for relatively cheap.
Yes,
I think there are options out there, and so they're just waiting to see what they've got. Coach these guys up, get them some reps in training camp, let them play through the preseason. Let's see what we got, and if we need to make a move, we will. If we strike gold and we have two young quality receivers who were just being blocked, then by all means, let's roll with that and see where we go.
All right, we have Pensman Sports here. Says, "What's up, Ralph? How are you, Pensman? Everything's great. Thank you for participating in the show." George Pickens was costing Steelers too much money and also and drama. All right, that's Pensman. Thank you, Pensman. And also, we've been trying to get rid of bad apples. Yes, we did. We got rid of Deontay Dropson, who was a somewhat of a bad apple, they said, and we ended up getting rid of him. All right, tune into Pensman Sports. He has a bunch of shows that he has on Facebook, on YouTube. Also, he has his own YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that, and also follow him on Twitter X, and follow me on Twitter X as well. So don't forget about Pensman Sports. That's my man right there. He's also on with me on Saturdays on the Saturday Sports Show, and Pensman's also here. I got something for everybody here. Mike, whenever you get a chance, come on down here. Let me know. But anyway, let me see if I can find it here real quick. Oh, there we go. Oh, hold on a minute. I think I still have it in here. If I don't, shame on me. Wow. Okay, I think this is it. There it is. There it is. Me and Pensman Sports. There we are. Right there on the boardwalk of Ocean City. Don't forget, if you're coming by, shoot me a text. Shoot me a Facebook Messenger. Tell me you're coming down here. I got some friends that were in Baltimore recently. Another one was in Salisbury, and they said they're coming back in the fall, and they're going to be back to see me here in Berlin, Maryland. I'm just outside of Ocean City. Stop by, say hello. We'll meet on a boardwalk, have a hot dog or something, and talk. You want to talk sports or whatever, politics or whatever, don't forget all my other RW Media shows as well. Don't forget on Wednesday night at 7:30, the way I see it, Ralph's Opinion Show, lots to talk about, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Trump. For the Ralph's Opinion Show, we're going to talk about this NFL shooting and where are all these crazies coming from, and why is things not being done to help them. And the way I see it, more crying on the boardwalk about lack of attendance in business and whatnot. So, but anyway, I want to send a shout out to, I know they came up short, to the Berlin, Maryland baseball team. They were on their way to the Maryland State Finals. They won that. They beat Salisbury or some other team. And then they went up again to go to the Little League World Series, and they ended up losing to Montgomery County in Philadelphia by a score of 1-0 2 days ago. So, but I want to send a shout out to Berlin, Maryland. They tried. The team tried to, get there. They made it all the way to where they needed to be. Good bunch of guys, and was happy to see that they, at least made it that far. It's too bad they didn't make it all the way. All right. Any final thoughts, Mike, before we let you go? And we're going to get our final thoughts in here with myself and Smokin' Jim. But Smokin' Jim, you have any more questions for Mike before I let him go?
No, great job, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, Mike, I
Always
appreciate you
fun,
hanging
but
with us for the whole show.
yeah, hey, it's always fun to talk to you guys. Now I'll be back sooner rather than later. But just to go back to something Smoking Jim was asking me about, letting pick and scope, and then Pensman brought up Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. You guys brought up Deontay Dropson. It tends to be that when Mike Tomlin gets rid of a guy, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, he doesn't tend to come back and bite y'all in the butt. He does not tend.
Yeah,
There have been
neither
very
did
few
Antonio
examples.
Brown.
Yeah, like there's been very few, if any, examples of a guy
Yeah.
who he has let go like this, who has then turned around and come back, and all of a sudden been like all pro, an amazing career after post Steelers land. So I think when you are invited involuntarily to leave the Steelers organization, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, it tends to portend negative things. I hope that George Pickens is aware enough of history as he goes down to Dallas to understand what that it means. But gentlemen, it's been great as always, and I'll catch up with you guys in the near future.
Pensman says, thank you, Mike, for being on the program. Sometime when Pensman's work schedule gets a little bit better, he'll be on this show here as well. So
yeah, hope to get together with y'all soon.
All right, no problem. Have a great one, Mike. Thank you. Mike SISZAK from the Amped Up Sports. Always a pleasure to have Mike on. We're going to try to get him on Saturday for the Saturday Sports Show. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on what Mike had to say, and let's get your thoughts on the show here on what was presented here.
Yeah, I think what people, you're one of the few that I can talk to about this, Ralph. I think what people miss is Mike Tomlin is drafting these guys with problems.
Yes.
I mean,
he was. He does.
George Pickens, in my draft report, I said he's the best receiver in football, but he could never play for me. But if you're going to draft these guys, you shouldn't be getting rid of them during their first contract, before their first contract is up. All of these guys, Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers been drafted high risk, high reward players. And then when things don't work out, they put the blame on the players. No, you drafted the guy and and you're hurting the team by letting him go this year. He would have been able to help the Pittsburgh Steelers maybe go to the Super Bowl. How you gonna stop Metcalf and Jordan?
Are you there, Smoking
That's a
Jim?
that's a great question.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's
Number
both,
one,
isn't it? I mean, you're a scout. You know that, right?
well, number one, he doesn't play. He doesn't play white wide receiver, so you can rule them out. Let the kid
Yeah.
the kid a year ago that the Chargers have that was almost rookie of the year, best rookie wide receiver in football, from Alabama, out there with the Chargers. The Steelers could have had him.
Oh,
Ran the,
absolutely.
but
Yes.
yeah, he runs the best routes in football, got the best hands.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
fast.
you mean Mike Williams? You mean, well, they had Mike
No,
Williams.
the white, no, the white guy, the
Oh,
rookie,
that guy.
the white
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
McConkey or lad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and I believe, and we may never see it, but I think number 15 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he reminds me of Yancey Bigpen, who was a great receiver for the Steelers. He won't get an opportunity because he's white.
Yeah. You got that right. All right, Smoking Jim. Don't forget to tune in to myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, Luther Dupree, every Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m. on 1250 a.m. The Answer 92.5 on the FM dial. In the radio business, we negotiate contracts 2 months before our contract is up. Our contract with the Answer is up in October. Starting next month, we have a renegotiation. I spoke to the station today. They want us back in a great way, and I'm glad to tell you we'll be with them for 1 more year. So you'll get 1 more year of the Sports Corner radio show every Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 1250 a.m., 92.5 on the FM dial, and on the internet, also online at 1250 a.m. The Answer, pgh.com. Don't forget to tune in. Also, scroll down, Google up 1250 a.m. The Answer, and then scroll down to Radio Stations USA and pop up the arrow, and you're on the air. And watch us this week. We have the debut of the fake Mike Tomlin press conference this Saturday at 2:00. So don't forget to tune into that. We're going to dissect Steeler training camp, the Pirates. We got a lot to talk about this as well. And coming up sometime soon, we're going to do a show on the TJ Watt draft. And what I mean by that is all 32 players that were drafted in 2017 when TJ Watt was drafted. And we're gonna break down every player and what they're doing. We know Myles Garrett's good. Well, let's see what the rest of them have been doing, other than Garrett and TJ Watt. Okay, so let's find out, because a lot of these guys got drafted before TJ Watt. So let's see what happens. All right, for Smoking Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams, and when we come back, more Wrestle Talk will be joining us shortly, so stay right here. We'll be back for 5 o'clock for Wrestle Talk, Hulk Hogan, and a whole lot more to talk about SummerSlam. We'll have the card for you. We're going to dissect that as well. 2-day event this year, Saturday and Sunday coming up. And my dedication to Hulk Hogan, I got my NWO shirt on, and I just want to let everyone know that as well. Have yourself a great one. Thank you for tuning in. Until next Tuesday, have yourself a great one. Please